Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hariba, 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 Gora Hariba. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Sudashri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Sudashri Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 81, Chapter entitled Lord Blesses Sudama Brahmana. Text 28. Pritaha swayam taya yuktaha pravishto nijamandiram Manistamba satopetam Mahendra bhavanam yatha. Pritaha swayam taya yukta pravishto nijamandiram Manistamba satopetam Mahendra bhavanam yatha. Pritaha swayam taya yukta pravishto nijamandiram Manistamba satopetam Mahendra bhavanam yatha. Please recite. Pravishta nijamandira Manistamba sataupeta Mahendra bhavanam yatha. Prita swayam taya yukta Pravishto nijamandiram Manistamba satopetam Manitnam bhavanam yatha. Vaishnavi, Vaishnavis. Prita swayam taya yukta Pravishto nijamandiram Manistamba satopeta Mahendram bhavanam yatha. The verses from 26, 27, they don't have purport, so we will recite, translate. Verse 26. When the chaste lady saw her husband, her eyes filled with tears of love and eagerness. As she held her eyes closed, she solemnly bowed down to him, and in her heart she embraced him. Sudama was amazed to see his wife, shining forth in the midst of maid servants, adorned with jeweled lockets. She looked as effulgent as a demigoddess in her celestial airplane. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that up to now the Supreme Lord had kept the Brahmana in his wretched state so that his wife could recognize him. Today's verse, translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. With pleasure, he took his wife with him and entered his house, where there were hundreds of gem-studded pillars, just as in the palace of Lord Mahendra. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that Sudama was simply astonished at the sight of his wife, as he wondered, who is this demigod's wife who has approached such a fallen soul as me? The maid servants informed him, this is indeed your wife. At that very moment, Sudama's body became young and beautiful, bedecked in fine clothing and jewelry. The word pritaha here indicates that these changes gave him considerable pleasure. The famous 1,000 names of Vishnu hymn of the Mahabharata immortalizes Sudama's sudden opulence in the following phrase: Sridama Ranka Bhaktartha Bhumi Anitendra Vaibhavaha. Lord Vishnu is also known as he who brought Indra's opulence to this earth for the benefit of his pitiful devotee Sridama or Sudama. Thus ends the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvesha Kripa Sindhu Vya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnamebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. There are so many pastimes of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that are being popularized by so many Bhagavat Kathakas. And of all so many pastimes, there are so many pastimes. There are about 90 chapters in uh, the 10th canto. The most popular, or the single most popular, is the Ras Leela. And the second most popular among the Bhagavat Kathakars is how Krishna blessed Sudama Brahmana, for all obvious reasons. One time, one devotee had come to temple. He's a wealthy man. And so we had put a plate and everything. And then he was again and again telling ki, Swamiji, Prabhuji, I have brought some things to give to Krishna. I said, okay, I'll put it inside. Now, can this be offered? Can this be offered? I said, yeah, we will offer it, but we'll put it there and it will get offered. No, this has to be offered. My guru has said, ki you should never come to temple empty-handed. Sounds very good. As if a great devotee following his guru, that we should never come to temple. We should bring something for Krishna. Otherwise, how we can come when we are coming to meet Krishna, how we can come empty-handed? And then he took the darshan and everything, and at the end he said, just like Swamiji, Sudama came with some broken pieces of rice. And just see what happened. What transformation happened. And I have brought some fruits. Expecting certain transformations. So in this way, the professional Bhagavat reciters misconstrue, or they try to divert the real essence, divert the audience from the real essence of what this pastime, Krishna and Sudama, is wanting to really portray, or what Krishna wants to say. Most of the Bhagavad reciters will discuss Krishna and Sudama, and they say that just see, make friendship with Krishna, make friendship with Krishna. Sounds very good. We also say make friendship with Krishna, Sakhya Ras. But the whole purpose is very, very material. The whole purpose is not to make friendship with Krishna, but to make friendship with Krishna, pranataha kleshanasaya. There is one Bhagavatam verse which all the Bhagavat reciters would recite always. Pranataha kleshanasaya. It comes in the last canto, 12th canto. So in this way, we need to understand that though Srimad Bhagavatam has only spoken about how to establish prema in our heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish that Srimad Bhagavatam through his life story and example. Though Srimad Bhagavatam establishes prema as the highest goal of life, but the pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam are still being misconstrued, their essence not being revealed by so many kathakas and all those. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish Srimad Bhagavatam's real essence. And we will see today how the same pastime of Sudama Brahman was established by Lord Chaitanya, and the essence of the pastime was established by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came down to showcase his pastimes through his associates. Sango Pangastra Parshadam. His weapon was his associates. One of the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Suklamara Brahmachari. Vrindavan Das Thakur says that Suklamara Brahmachari is incarnation of Sudama. And he was a brahmachari for all obvious reasons. Because then he doesn't have a wife who will send him to Lord Chaitanya to get money. So, Suklambar was in Navadvip the most unrecognized person. Rather, he was considered as an outcast. No one knew about him. Even the Brahmanas who knew about him would not even look at Suklambar. They would not even look, and Suklambar would go and beg rice from 10 houses. And from the 10 houses, whatever rice he would collect, he would cook it, offer it to Krishna, and take prasadam. And Suklambar would day and night chant Hare Krishna. He had a small kutir on the bank of Ganges. When Nimai Pandit Vishwambhar went to Gaya and came back completely as a transformed person, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the first official exhibition of his ecstasy happened in Suklambar Brahmachari's house. When Lord came back, all devotees, Sriman Pandit and many devotees came to meet the Lord, that Lord has come back, Vishwambhar has come back. Now our classes will start. And they found Lord so miserable. The Lord said, I went to Gaya. I saw the lotus feet of Krishna, Pada Padma Tirtha. All the Tirthas reside in the lotus feet of Krishna. And as soon as Lord said, Pada Padma Tirtha, Ganges of tears came out from his eyes, and entire Angan, the courtyard of Sachimata, got filled with tears. And these people, they were wondering, is this Nimai Pandit? What has happened to him? And then Lord said, I want to tell about my remorse. I want to tell how distressed I am. Please come to Suklambar's house tomorrow. I will tell what has happened to me. News spread among the Vaishnavas like wildfire. Nimai has become a devotee. And he has called all of us to assemble in Suklambar Brahmachari's house. And when Gadadhar Pandit heard it, he jumped and danced in ecstasy. And he came and started hiding behind Suklambar Brahmachari's house just to see how Nimai has become a devotee. What all things, what verses he is reciting after becoming a devotee. Is he reciting all those Nyaya Sastras? Is he reciting all those Sastras? Or is he started reciting Srimad Bhagavatam? So Gadadhar was hiding, and all of the devotees were in the house of Suklambar, Shriman, Srivas, Mukunda. And when Lord Chaitanya came, he was crying and crying. There was a small pillar in front of the house of Suklambar Brahmachari. And Lord came and started telling, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And he saw the pillar, Lord Chaitanya saw the pillar of Suklambar's house, and Lord Chaitanya said, oh Krishna, oh Krishna. He grabbed that pillar and he crumpled the pillar to dust. And he fell down along with the pillar and some part of the thatched hut along with it. And devotees were wondering what happened to the Lord. And Suklambar immediately went, started taking out the dust. Lord Chaitanya was crying, holding Suklambar's hand. Suklambar, tell me, where is Krishna? Where has Krishna gone? And Lord was crying, and all his faces was filled with tears and saliva. And Suklambar Brahmachari wiped off the tears of Lord's face and prayed, how fortunate I am that I am able to witness such ecstasy of the Lord in my house. And then Lord Chaitanya, he called Gadadhar Pandit and he said, Gadadhar, your life is successful. From the beginning of your life, you were so much devoted to Krishna. I have wasted my life fully in useless endeavor of all these discerning these Nyaya Sastras. Now I have understood that the essence of life is chanting the names of Krishna. And all devotees started dancing, chanting in Suklambar's house. And that was the beginning of Harinam Sankirtan in Navadvip, in the pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the house of Suklamara Brahmachari. And then Lord invited all devotees to Srivas Angan and said, every day, every night, we will perform this congregational chanting. All of you are invited. And among all devotees who were constantly associating with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srivas Angan was this Suklambar Brahmachari. Suklambar Brahmachari had a jhola. Brahmacharis have a jhola. Not like this Amazon jhola, but good jhola. His jhola was from the rag cloth. He has somehow made it. You have seen, if you take a cloth and tie the 4 parts of the cloth with another 4 parts of another cloth, you will create a jhola. Right? You have seen? Yeah, very good. Hari Om has seen. So Suklambar had that type of jhola. And it has a mouth. And from the mouth, he would put different rice, which people would give. There is a particular type of rice called khuda, which is called Odisha in Bengal, khuda. When the rice goes to the meal, it comes out single. But many of the rice gets broken into small parts. And those small parts are rejected. And some of the poor people, they go to the rice mill and they purchase the small parts of the rice in low price. And they bring it to the house. And then they try to sew it, minnow it, and all those, try to take it out. And then they take it out, those broken parts of rice from the broken parts of rice who are rejected, who cannot be edible. And those broken parts of rice from the broken parts of the rice which the poor people have rejected, Suklambar would go to their house and begged from them those rejected broken pieces of rice. And he would collect it in all his jhola and he would bring. And in the kirtans, his jhola would be lying on his shoulder and he would jump like anything. Suklambar, when he would jump, he will touch the ceiling and his jhola will also be jumping and dancing. Some of the rice would come out and his jhola will be jumping and dancing like another brahmachari. And one day, while performing kirtan, Lord Chaitanya was dancing and he sat down and all devotees were wondering why Lord sat down. And all devotees were looking at Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because Lord Chaitanya has stopped dancing and all devotees stopped dancing but was gazing what the Lord is thinking. But Suklambar was in such great ecstasy, he didn't even notice that Lord has stopped dancing. He was still dancing. Closed his eyes, he was dancing and his bag was also dancing. The rice particles were flowing out. And the Lord said, Suklambar! And the Suklambar was not able to hear. He was dancing. Suklambar, I tell you, give me your rice. Come here. And then Suklambar came to his senses and he saw that all devotees are looking at him. And Lord is looking at him. And he felt embarrassed. And the Lord said, "Come, Suklambar, come." And Suklambar came and stood in front of Lord. And Lord immediately put his hand inside his jhola, inside his cloth bag, and took out some of the broken pieces of rice. And the Lord took it. As soon as Lord took it, Suklamara Brahmachari felt so bad. He fell down at the feet of the Lord and begged, "Oh Lord, this rice is not suitable for your eating. This is the most rejected rice in the entire creation. Not even the poorest beggars eat this rice. I will go to hell." Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh Suklambar, from ages together, in all my incarnations, I wait when I will eat this rice. When you came to Dwaraka, I stole the rice from your jhola. And now you have come as Suklambar. I am so eager to eat this broken pieces of rice. But in Dwaraka, I didn't give you something which I can give you now. I want to make you really wealthy, Suklambar." And when the Lord said like this, Suklambar started crying. He was dancing in happiness. Now he was crying in wilderness. "Ah, Krishna, Banamali, Govinda, where are you?" And he was rolling on the ground, crying in ecstasy. And all the devotees, seeing the mercy that Suklamara Brahmachari got, they started telling Hari Bol Jai. And from that day onward, Suklambar was just not dancing, he was crying in ecstasy while he was dancing. One day, as Suklambar was dancing and dancing, the night came, and the Lord said we should all go to take rest. And next day in the morning, the Lord said to Suklambar, "Suklambar, today in the lunch, I will come to your house to take prasadam." Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaurang Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now, interesting to note, the same Lord Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The same Lord who appeared in Dwaraka has appeared as Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. The same Lord who took the rice from Sudama, the broken pieces of rice from Sudama, has appeared as Lord Chaitanya and took the broken pieces of rice from Suklambar. The same Suklambar is Sudama. But Suklambar didn't become a rich man. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the rice from Suklambar, it's not that there was a palatial building in Navadvip. It's not that all the Navadvipvasis saw that because Viswambhar has taken broken pieces of rice from him, he has got such palatial buildings. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish the supremacy of the wealth of Krishna's love beyond anything of this world, beyond any wealth of this world. When Krishna blessed Sudama with the wealth of this world, there is some opportunity to misunderstand the pastime. But as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sudama was blessed as Suklamara Brahmachari with the wealth of love of Krishna. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Suklamara, I am coming to your house for eating lunch. Suklamara said, why do you joke, my lord? What is there in my home to feed you lunch? As Vaikuntapati, you take so much of lunch. And why would take lunch in my house? Sachi Mata feeds you so much in the lunch. And the Lord said, no, I am not joking. I will come to your house in the noon for lunch along with my students. Please prepare a nice lunch. And Suklamara understood. Lord is serious. And he has nothing. Maybe he has not gone for begging for so many days. So Suklamara went and asked devotees and said, what should I do now? And the devotees said, you are so fortunate. Lord Gauranga, he is personally going to come to your house to take prasadam. Please prepare a lunch. And Suklamara was thinking, what to lunch I prepare? I have nothing. Apart from a pot and some rejected broken pieces of rice, he has nothing. And Suklamara went immediately and begged some thod. You know what is thod? There is banana plant, and if you cut the banana plant after the fruit has come, and inside the banana plant there is the stem. In biology it is xylem or phloem, or I don't know what it is. So it's a white color stem, inside part of the stem. And that has that is like a perverted version of banana. It has some taste of banana, and it has the nutrients of banana, but not the taste of banana. That's why many devotees, many people don't like that thod. So he begged some thod. And devotees said to him, if you are feeling so embarrassed to cook for the Lord, don't touch it. If you don't touch, how will you cook? And Suklamara said, yes, good idea. I will not touch because I am an outcast. I am untouchable. If I touch the offering, if I touch the food, then how can the Supreme Lord take this food? I will not touch the food. But how do you touch the food without, how do you cook the food without touching the food? And then without touching the water, Suklamara, he brought a mud pot and filled it with water and put it in the stove. And without touching the rice, he somehow picked up some rice, I don't know how, and he put it in the water. And without touching, I don't know how he didn't do that. Without touching the thod, he put the thod in the water. And he was chanting, Govinda, Banamali, Krishna. And he was doing that and he was dancing. And Lakshmi was thinking, my Lord will come and eat this? He is not ready to touch and find out whether the rice is cooked or not. He considers himself so untouchable. How do he know that rice is cooked or not? My goodness. Lakshmi got so concerned about this spontaneous. See, Lakshmi is in Aishwarya Bhav. Obviously, he will concerned about the Braja Bhakti. Lakshmi got so concerned about the spontaneous. Like sometimes some of our devotees behave so spontaneously. Managers become greatly concerned. Managers are supposed to be in Aishwarya Bhav to ensure things are streamlined. So they're so concerned. Lakshmi was really concerned. Lakshmi was wondering what will happen now. He's dancing. He has put it. He has taken a vow and sankalpa that he would not even touch the rice. How he's going to know whether the rice is cooked or not? Mother Lakshmi, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, personally glanced at the rice of Suklamara. And those rejected parts of the rejected by the poorest people, those rice became the most valuable rice in the entire creation. The entire Navadvip was scented by the aroma of the rice that was cooked on the bank of the Ganges by Suklamara Brahmachari. And when the Lord came, he came along with his students. And when the Lord came, he understood, sitting in the heart of Suklambar, Suklambar doesn't want to touch even the rice. And the rice was cooked, and it got cooked by Lakshmiji's glance. And the Lord came, Suklambar, what is this fragrance? What is this fragrance? What did you make for me? And immediately some devotees put the rice and some particles of thod, banana stem that was floating on the rice, on a banana leaf. And immediately Lord took some of the rice and offered it to Ganges, offered it to Krishna. I don't allow you to. This is not the regular, all of us, we cannot follow this technique of offering. The Lord offered, oh Krishna, take it. And immediately the Lord offered it. And then the prasadam was divided among all the students that Lord had brought in. Everyone was taking, I don't know, Suklamar is a beggar. When we go to sometimes Grihastha's house with 20 devotees, they get concerned where they will get the utensils to cook. The Lord cooked. Suklambar cooked for the Lord. The Lord brought so many of his students, and Suklambar had not even utensils to. Why he would keep utensils for 20 people? He had a small mud pot. From that rice that came out fed so many devotees, so much they took that they were not able to walk. And they decided that they would sleep in Suklambar's house. And the Lord said, we will sleep here. Such a nice prasadam. So it is bona fide that the brahmacharis, after prasadam, they take a nap. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told that after prasadam, you have to take a nap. Especially when the prasadam is very nice. And then when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took rest, all the devotees were taking rest and snoring. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took rest in the house of Suklambar beside a devotee whose name was Vijay Das. Vijay was a very special soul. Lord enacted the pastime of scholarly Brahmana as a teacher, and Vijay was Lord's printer, Xerox copier. Every teacher has a Xerox printer because he has to give handouts, notes. During those times, there were no printers. They were called Ankadiyas. Ankadiya means basically printer. The Lord would give the class, and immediately Vijay would be making the notes, and he would keep the notes, and Lord would announce that all of you would get the handouts next time when you come for the class. And Vijay would make the notes, copy the notes, and make different copies for all the students and distribute to the students. So Vijay was one of the students of the Lord. Generally, the teachers who are the best students, they make him Ankadiya. Like when I was also as a mathematics teacher, I had made one student as like that, remembering this story. So this Vijay Das, so he was making all these writings for the Lord. He was sleeping beside the Lord. And the prasadam was so great, so nourishing, so fulfilling. Then the Lord was snoring, everyone. I don't know whether they were snoring, but everyone was in deep slumber. And the Lord moved his hand, because he was sleeping beside Vijay, and he put his hand on Vijay's stomach. And Vijay Das, he was closed his eyes, and as soon as Lord put his hand on the stomach, he got a vision as if the entire universe is on his stomach now. The weight of the hand of the Lord was so immense that Vijay thought, what happened? What happened? And he opened his eyes and he saw a long hand filled with jeweled ornaments, beautiful, like the color of bluish cloud, with such beautiful ornaments, bracelets, armlets. The arm was extending the entire Navadvip. Vijay was so bewildered. He started shouting, ah, but Lord's hand was on the stomach. He could not shout also properly. And all people thought that Vijay saw some nightmare or some dream. And immediately Lord took his hand and put on the mouth of Vijay and said, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell this to anyone. Keep this confidential. And Vijay, what confidential he will keep? He got up and he started jumping and dancing and dancing. And devotees were wondering, what glimpse of Krishna Vijay has seen in the dream? Oh Krishna, please show this form of yours that will make us also ecstatic like this. And Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Vijay remained in this ecstatic condition 7 days in Navadvip, wandering without eating anything, without sleeping anywhere, without drinking any drop of water. For 7 days, he was roaming in Navadvip like a madman. And all the Vaishnavas, they were considering when we will experience the ecstasy of Vijay. What he has seen. And this happened in Suklamara Brahmachari's house. So, Kavi Karnapur has also mentioned that Suklamara Brahmachari is also Madhubrata or Madhu and Madhukanta. Sorry. Suklamara Brahmachari is one of the Yajnik Brahmanas. Yajnik ladies who offered Krishna food. So whenever Lord comes, especially when Lord Chaitanya came down, he wanted all his primary associates of the Vishnu avatar, of the most primary associates, to come and experience what is Braj Bhakti. Hanuman came as Murari Gupta, Prahlad came as Vasudev Datta. But when these associates, they come down, along with them, the Vrindavan associates also enter that body so that they can experience the mood of Vrindavan. So Suklambar is incarnation of Sudama, but is also a combined incarnation, as explained by Kavi Karnapur, incarnation of one of the Yajnik Brahmana ladies. And we see in this story of the Yagyapatnis how when they met the gopis would come and sell their chach, their ghee to the Brahmana ladies. And they would sell less and speak more. And generally, whenever someone would come and sell ghee or some items, they would glorify their products. The gopis would glorify not their products, they would glorify Krishna. They would glorify Damodar, they would glorify Krishna, they would tell all the pastimes of Krishna, and sometimes they would even miss telling what is the price of the ghee. And the Brahman Patnis, they would see the gopis, they would feel so enlivened. What is the nature of the devotion? Who is this Krishna? We want to meet Krishna. And Krishna, in order to taste this intense desire among the ladies of the Brahmanas, Krishna went and begged food from these Brahmana ladies. There is a verse from Brihad Bhagavatam. It says that where Krishna appears, Yasya Sri Bhagavat Prapto. If you really want to attain Lord, if you really want to take darshan of the Lord is not present in different places. Lochandas Thakur in Chaitanya Mangal says in one of the pastimes, Suklamara Brahmachari says to Gauranga that, "O Lord Gauranga, I have visited so many holy places, but I could not find Krishna." And Lord Gauranga said, "Yes, just by visiting holy places, one will not be able to find Krishna. Krishna resides in the heart of the Mahabhagavats." And by associating with the Mahabhagavat, yasya Shri Bhagavat prapto utkata ichha yato bhavet. Utkata ichha. Brihad Bhagavatamrit Sanatan Goswami says that when we associate with great souls, their association should create within us, or we should be inspired to develop in our heart a utkata ichha, an intense desire for Bhagavat Prapti, for meeting Krishna. And when a living entity develops this intense desire to meet Krishna, this utkata ichha, sa tatra eva lavatam. That is the only way to attain Krishna in life, to attain love for Krishna in life. And Krishna is so obsessed, so hungry after that, to taste that utkata ichha, that desire for experiencing that love, that Krishna runs and will steal everything from the life of a devotee and make the devotee, like he made Suklambar, the most wealthiest person in this entire creation. So real wealth, Krishna gave Sudama along with the wealth. Sudama was already having the wealth of love for Lord. And Krishna gave Sudama the wealth of this world. But as Suklambar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't give him any wealth. Rather, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Suklambar. Lifetime after lifetime, you remain a beggar. And lifetime, I would come to steal all the broken pieces of your rice that you have begged from houses. This is the essence of this pastime of Sudama Brahman. To really desire to become hungry for Krishna's love, which is the real wealth. And when a person attains this wealth, when a person becomes wealthy with Krishna's love, what is the symptom of such a person? When a person attains Krishna's wealth of love, he again becomes a beggar. Beggar to distribute that love. And we see Srila Prabhupada. He was the most wealthiest beggar. Like Sudama. He had the wealth of love of Krishna. And he was in Vrindavan. But he became the most wealthy beggar. He wanted to distribute that wealth, what he had, which no one in this world recognizes. And he went to the outside world, to the Western countries. He was enjoying in Vrindavan the wealth of love of Krishna. Who would like to leave Vrindavan? Most of the conditioned souls. If you see Vrindavan, it is not a scenic place. It has no mountains. It has no waterfalls. It has no seashore. But still, there is so much of crowd in Vrindavan because there is some attractive force in Vrindavan. even for the conditioned souls. What to speak of Srila Prabhupada, who was staying in Vrindavan, who was experiencing the love of Krishna, but he was constantly thinking that I want to become a beggar. He was wealthy already with Krishna's love, but he decided voluntarily to become a beggar to distribute that wealth. So the real symptom of having got the wealth of love for Krishna is when you become a beggar again. This love for Krishna, this wealth of love for Krishna will make you a beggar. And beggar to distribute this love with everyone. And when Srila Prabhupada went to becoming a beggar, begging in the streets of New York and Boston, San Francisco, Krishna made him like Sudama. There was some businessman who had come to meet Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, is there any other businessman like me? I went with 40 rupees to America. And now I have 40 crores and crores of rupees in just one temples. Srila Prabhupada was blessed with so much of the wealth of this world so that he can distribute the real wealth of the world, that is Krishna Prem. So whether we have wealth or no wealth, whether we are a beggar or whatever we have, if we develop this utkata ichha, strong, intense desire for meeting the Lord, as we see how Sudama had, as we see how the Yajnapatnis had, then Lord, in order to taste the intensity of our desire to meet Him, the intensity of this utkata ichha, He would come to give His darshan. He would come to steal not the rice, but the ichha of our heart that is there to love and serve Him. And when Lord will come, He will bless, as He blessed Suklamara, as He blessed Sudama, with the real wealth of this world, that is love of Godhead. And that wealth will again make us actual beggar. Real beggar is not who begs for broken pieces of rice. Real beggar is not who begs for some money so that he can sustain himself. True beggar is like Srila Prabhupada, who begged to give us the true charity, the true wealth, the wealth of holy name, the wealth of service to Gauranga. In one of the songs, it is mentioned that Gaura pahu na bhajiya menu prema ratana dhana helaya harainu. Because I didn't worship Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet with care, carelessly, I have rejected the wealth that has come in my life. Prema, dhana, ratana, helaya. Helaya means carelessly. I have carelessly wasted my life, wasted the opportunity to get the real wealth. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the real essence of this Krishna Sudama pastime through the enactment of the pastime of Suklamara Brahmachari, giving him the real wealth and making him remain a impoverished beggar. And the real essence is love for Krishna. So let us pray at the lotus feet of Sudama, Suklamara Brahmachari, Sri Nityanand Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that we develop this intense desire in our heart, this utkata ichha, to meet the Lord, to serve the Lord, to see the ecstasies of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srivas Angan. And this cannot be done just by force. There were two stories, I would say, in last 5 minutes. Srivas Thakur, in his Angan, one time, the mother-in-law of Srivas, he hidingly, under a grain basket, stayed just to see Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy. And as Lord Chaitanya was dancing in Shiva's Angan, he was telling, I am not feeling ecstasy. I am not feeling ecstasy. Why? Sriva still knew that his mother-in-law has come without permission. He was searching, I don't know what happened, And then he found out that his mother-in-law was hiding behind the grain basket, and through the holes of the grain basket, he was trying to peep in how Lord Chaitanya was dancing. Srivas became so angry on his mother-in-law, only Srivas can do that. He said, you wretched lady, how dare you stay here and disturb Lord Gauranga's ecstasy? Immediately, he ordered some of the ladies to grab the hair of his mother-in-law and throw her out of the house. And he came back, and then Lord Chaitanya says, now I am feeling the ecstasy again. All of you dance. Now this is such a seemingly odd behavior of Lord Chaitanya. Srivas Thakur's own mother-in-law, directly connected in relationship with Srivas, didn't got Lord Chaitanya's mercy. But in the Mahaprakash Leela, there was a maid servant, not the maid servant of directly of Srivas, he was the maid servant of the maid servants. Her name was Dukhi. She was maid servant of the maid servants. She was getting the Ganges water for Lord's Abhishek in the Mahaprakash Leela and were giving it to the servants, and servants were giving it to Srivas and devotees, and they were offering it. And Lord Chaitanya, and she was not even entering the house, thinking herself as completely rejected, wretched, to even enter the house where such divine pastimes are happening. And this Dukhi, who didn't even enter the house of Srivas, at the doorstep was giving the pot of Ganges water to the servants. Lord Chaitanya said, who is this lady standing at the doorstep? Srivas said, this is Dukhi, my maid servant. Lord Chaitanya said, Dukhi? What is the name this Dukhi? From today on, I will name her Sukhi, and she will be the most happiest person in the entire creation. And as soon as Lord proclaimed like this, Dukhi, who was standing at the door, was jumping in ecstasy, crying, Ha Krishna! And he fell down there, crying in ecstasy of Krishna Prem. So here is Srivas Thakur's own mother-in-law. She was trying to hidingly see Gauranga's Leela in Srivas Angan. She was related to Srivas, didn't got the mercy of Lord. But here is a simple Dukhi who was not ready to enter Srivas Angan, but through his loving service attitude, Utkata Ichha, to serve the Lord, in background, she got the mercy of Gauranga. So we need to understand that Lord Chaitanya establishes this principle. We cannot barge into the Lord's pastimes. The only way is to be blessed by Lord Gauranga. And Lord Gauranga will bless us when we are blessed with humility. Humility that I am the most fallen soul, but somehow or other, though, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in one of the song, he says that Vrindavan is the topmost place. But though Vrindavan is the topmost place and I am the lowermost person, but my desire is more than Vrindavan, to achieve Vrindavan. So to understand that we are fallen, and to also understand, though I am fallen, if I develop this intense desire to attain the Lord's lotus feet, the Lord will definitely bless us with His love. It's not by some connection, it's not by some bribery, it's not by some ways we just barge in. It is by humility and it is by intensity of our desire to meet the Lord and serve the Lord, not enjoy the Lord. As mother-in-law of Shivas was thinking, I will enjoy the dancing of Gauranga. And the Dukhi, she was standing at the doorstep just to serve the Lord without having any desire to meet the Lord in humility. So this is the essence of Krishna Sudama pastime established by Lord Chaitanya in his pastime through Suklamara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Sudama Brahman ki, Shri Suklamara Brahmachari ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.